no transformation, no change, right, for anybody is ever done in a linear line of perfection. It is a consistent practice of showing up, slipping up, falling down, making a mistake, not doing what you thought you were going to do, not doing what you said you were going to do, observing and continuing to move forward, right? We don't want to use slip-ups and obstacles and mistakes as a reason to speak against ourselves or to throw the towel in. Everything can move you forward if you allow it to. How to cultivate more self-discipline on your weight loss journey and why this is important. This is what I want to chat with you about today. But before we jump into the video, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dani Spies, and I want to remind you that I have a free 3-part mind, body, weight loss series that you can access by going down to the description box below and simply clicking the link. This is for anybody who wants to practice a kind, sane, sustainable approach to permanent weight loss without all of the rules and restrictions of traditional dieting. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be chatting about self-discipline. Now, I find that a lot of people shy away from the term self-discipline, and I think that is because so many of us have learned to use the idea of discipline as something we use against ourselves rather than for ourselves. Meaning, we use it as a way to be very hard on ourselves, to be very harsh and critical with ourselves, rather than using it as a tool and using it as a practice to live into, to become the version of ourselves that we most want to become, right? I like the idea of living into the realest, truest version of yourself. I once read something that said, when you think of transformation or change, it's not so much about changing yourself as it is about claiming yourself. And I really love that mental shift. Now, personally, my definition of self-discipline is really taking the time to understand yourself, your body, your desires, your dreams, and then with that understanding, practicing, learning how to become that version of yourself, right? It's really something that we're gifting ourselves, right? We're getting clear on something that we really want, and then we're learning we're practicing living in alignment with that truth, with that desire. Because personally, I don't think that there's any worse feeling than wanting something, right? Knowing that you want something, whether that's a health goal, a weight goal, or just any type of goal you have in your body, a fitness goal, a business goal. You can really apply this to anything. And then not believing or not working towards having or achieving that thing for yourself. I also think that this is the beginning of what creates dis-ease in the body. Because what happens is when you're clear on a desire, but you tell yourself you can't have it, or you're not capable of it, or you don't know how to do it, or whatever negative thought processes we spin, we create an internal conflict within ourselves. You create a divide within the body. Right? There's a part of you that wants something, and then within that same self, you're telling yourself you can't have it or you don't know how to get it. So in many ways, I might argue that self-discipline is the highest form of self-love, because it's taking the time to understand something that you really want and then practicing, learning how to create that for yourself, how to live into that version of yourself, right? Which creates a sense of alignment. It creates a sense of fulfillment. You could also think of it like this, right? When you're practicing self-discipline, you are choosing to show up for what you want the most for yourself versus what you want just in the moment. Right? Is that practice of I want what I want when I want it versus there is something bigger and different that I want, and what is it going to take to figure that out for myself? And I think a lot of people, including myself, right? This is all a practice. We're all on this journey together, can easily confuse pleasure with self-love. Meaning, you can take the action that gives you a temporary sense of relief or ease or a break or feeling good in place of consistently practicing the small day in and day out habits that would really get you the thing you want most. And we can of course plug this into food and body, which is what we're gonna do. So let's say you are working to lose weight and you have a really long day, you had a tough day at the office, and you get home and you have a desire to pour that glass of wine or to sit on the couch and eat some ice cream. In that moment, it feels very soothing, it feels very relaxing, it helps you create a sense of ease, and many people would say that this is a form of self-love. But really what this is, it is a temporary distraction from the deeper work of having to process those more difficult emotions. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have its time and its place. You know, sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is to just give ourselves a break. But if it's something that you're doing on a consistent basis, you really want to start to step back and take a deeper look. So if you have, say, a weight loss goal or a specific fitness goal or some type of health goal, really the most loving thing you can do in that space would be to connect to those desires, right? Connect to what you really want the most, and then do the deeper work, some would say the more challenging of work, of learning how to care for yourself in that space without turning to food. Okay? And I want to be really clear, I don't want you to use any of this information against yourself. Nothing that we chat about, we're never allowed to use it to beat ourselves up, right? It's only always a tool for awareness. True self-discipline is this space where you're in that aligned energy of your mind, your body, your soul, your heart, right? And you're taking the daily actions to move towards the bigger desires. And you're looking at this as a practice. I always want to remind you that no transformation, no change, right, for anybody is ever done in a linear line of perfection. It is a consistent practice of showing up, slipping up, falling down, making a mistake, not doing what you thought you were going to do, not doing what you said you were going to do, observing and continuing to move forward, right? We don't want to use slip-ups and obstacles and mistakes as a reason to speak against ourselves or to throw the towel in. Everything can move you forward if you allow it to. A few things that I think are very important to note when it comes to self-discipline is that this is not a process of doing what you think you should do. It's not a process of doing what other people are doing or what other people are telling you you should do, right? True self-discipline is a practice of living into what feels real and true for you. It's about understanding a true desire for yourself and then consciously working towards that desire. It's from the inside out. It is not from the outside in. One could say it's a commitment to living your best life or your most fulfilling life, right? But remember that life is based on your rules, right? You're the one who gets to write the script. I also think it's important to remember that self-discipline or self-growth, it doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you a more valuable person, a more worthy person. It simply helps you to live in alignment with whatever it is that you want, right? When you have a clear understanding, a clear desire of some type of goal or transformation, and that is clear for you, self-discipline is simply the practice of living in alignment with that vision for yourself, right? You don't want to use it against yourself. When you can give yourself to the process of learning and growing and practicing and developing yourself without being desperate to get the result, right? Without being desperate to get to the finish line, this creates a very fun and engaging way to live your life. And this is why you often hear people say, right, that the journey determines the destination. You cannot hate yourself then. You cannot take a road of misery and self-depreciation and negative self-talk and lots of willpower and restriction and deprivation and then think that you're going to arrive at some magical end place that feels good, right? We have to find a path that moves us in the direction that we want to go that actually feels good for us. And in order to do that, we have to be willing to practice, right? We have to be willing to slip up. We have to be willing to fail. We have to be willing to keep moving forward. So to bring this all together, I want to give you a few clear steps that can help you to cultivate more self-discipline in your life, okay? So step number one is identifying what you want. What is the goal and why do you want it? Pull out your pen, pull out your paper, take some time and get clear. Many of us are in the habit of knowing what we don't want, but we're not super clear on what we do want. But the more clarity you have on what you do want, the easier the whole game becomes. So for example, if you say to yourself, I want to be healthy, that's a pretty vague goal. If you say to yourself, I want to lose weight, that too is like a rather vague goal, right? Be a little bit more specific for yourself. How do you define being healthy? Does being healthy mean eating a certain way, exercising a certain way, having certain blood markers? Really get clear for yourself so you know specifically what you're trying to do. Same for weight. Do you want to lose 50 pounds? Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you want to lose weight and maintain muscle? Do you just want to get extra weight off of your body? Like, get clear for yourself, because the clearer you can be, the easier it's going to be. So step one, identify what you want and why you want it. Why is it important to you? And be mindful. Notice, is your desire driven by a negative emotion or a positive emotion? So for example, if weight loss is your goal, do you say to yourself, I want to lose weight because I'm tired of being overweight and I'm tired of feeling heavy and I'm tired of not having energy and I'm just tired of looking at myself? Is that what you're telling yourself? Or are you saying to yourself, I want to lose weight because I want to have more energy and vitality, and I want to play more, and I want to go climb that mountain with my friend, or I want to go on that specific hike, right? Notice that one is driven with self-loathing and the other is driven with self-love. We want to be fueling our goals and our desires with self-love, because that's what's going to help to move us forward. You cannot hate yourself to the finish line. I promise you, if you could, I, my dear friends, would have won the award many moons ago. Okay, step two on how to cultivate more self-discipline is, once you're clear on what you want and why you want it, you want to take a little bit of time every day to connect to that desire, connect to that vision for yourself, because this is what's going to keep your brain looking forward and moving towards what you want, right? You want to speak in to the desire, because that's going to help you to take the actions needed on a daily basis that will keep you in alignment with that desire. Personally, I think one of the best ways to do this is with a short morning practice, right? Just sitting down with the journal, writing down the thing that you want and why you're wanting it, and giving yourself a few minutes to connect to the positive emotions that would be associated with having that thing, right? Letting yourself get excited about it and feel good about it. Because when we feel good about something, it tends to pull us forward, rather than when we feel bad about something and then we feel like we're kind of pushing ourselves forward, okay? So connecting to those positive emotions and connecting to that goal that you want for yourself, right? You want to bring it to your own attention on a daily basis. And then step three is, you want to bring that goal, that desire, into the present moment. You want to bring it into the day. So how do we do that? We say, what are 2 to 3 things that I could do today that would move me towards that goal, that would move me towards that vision, right? Because transformation is not a destination, it is a decision. It's specifically when it comes to weight loss, because we cannot lose weight overnight. Right? Weight loss takes time. So if you're constantly looking for that end result, it's very easy to become discouraged. But if you put your excitement and your self-encouragement into the daily steps, what can I do today that are going to align with that goal, with being that person? Like, you get to be that person today. You don't need the scale to change to be that person. And that drives a lot of positive emotion. So asking yourself, what are 2 to 3 things that I could do specifically today, right? So if weight loss was your goal, 2 to 3 things could be drinking a certain amount of water, specific, doing a little bit of meal planning, right? Maybe planning a 20-minute walk outdoors and getting fresh air. I mean, there's so many different approaches you could take, different things you could practice, but whatever they are, identify 2 to 3 of them specifically that you can do that day that puts you in alignment in the present moment. And the 4th step to helping you cultivate more self-discipline is to allow yourself to be exactly where you are as you work towards that goal. And this is a really important piece of the puzzle. You know, just because you take the time to think about what you want, think about why you want it, and then identify a few things that are going to help you get there, you have to remember that it's not always going to go as planned, right? It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be perfect. And you have to give yourself the space and the grace to learn and practice. This is why you hear me infuse this into almost every single video that I do, because I see it over and over again. And I know even in my own life, as I'm working on some personal fitness goals right now, it is so important that we don't use daily slip-ups or mistakes or when things don't go as planned against ourselves. We have to use everything as an opportunity to learn and or to just move it forward, right? You don't want to just throw in the towel every time something goes wrong, or you're never going to move towards your goals. And then you're going to start to buy into a false narrative that you're not capable, or you're just not that kind of person, or other people could do it, but you can't do it. And none of that is true, right? We just have to learn to be where we are as we practice becoming the person we need to be to get to the place we're trying to get. Okay, so this is just like the tip of the iceberg to get you started, but it definitely can get you started, right? So number one, you want to identify what you want and why you want it. Number two, you want to take time each day to connect to that desire, connect to that goal. And then number three, you're going to ask yourself, how do I bring this into today? What are 2 to 3 actions I can take that put me in alignment with that desire? And we're going to celebrate those small steps, right? We're going to create habits and practices with those small steps. And then the final step is always allowing yourself to be where you are on the journey, knowing that it's not supposed to be perfect, and that no matter how many mistakes you make, you always have the ability to just decide to keep moving forward. Because at the end of the day, specifically when it comes to weight loss, I promise you that is going to be the secret sauce. So I hope this was helpful. If you have thoughts, questions, aha moments, anything you want to add to this conversation, I would love to hear from you. So please come on down to the comment section below and do share. And do not forget that I also have a link for a free 3-part mind-body weight loss series for any of you who are working towards a more kind, sane, sustainable approach to permanent weight loss. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dani Spies, and I'll see you back here next time with some more food for thought. Cheers.